Hello everyone, and welcome to our game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Sgsea, and I'm terribly sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Now he is in the Conqueror, tier 10, British battleship. He is on the map the Atlantic, in a 3-point domination game mode, and well, it's obviously a tier 10 battle. The friendlies have one more destroyer, which is a nice advantage. There is Des Moines and a Donsk with Radar. The enemy team has a Moskva and a Baltimore, so like both teams have 2 radar ships. Now the friendly team secured the center, and for some reason the enemies weren't interested in that. Of course the enemies have 1 less destroyer, so they tried to take A and C. Now A isn't looking very good for the friendlies. Sgsea decided to support the friendly push here, and they have a Des Moines with Radar, they have a Fletcher, so they are a decent team to taking a capture point, but there is just too many enemy opposition. The enemies have Radar as well, the Fletcher can't really get into this cap. So there isn't much the friendlies can do here, and they should probably already contemplate retreating. In the north it's looking great. There is friendly radar there is a destroyer in the cap, and those ships, well, quite a few of those ships are reasonably close, so the friendlies should have no trouble in the north, and hopefully they can hunt down the enemy force there. So all the friendlies can hope to achieve in the south is delaying the enemy. If they can make sure this enemy force just stays there and isn't reinforcing the north, then it's a big advantage for the friendly team. Now Sgsea is showing quite a bit of broadside, but I think currently only the Iowa can truly use that. Or maybe the Yamato as well. Yeah, he definitely has to be careful here, and he's already angling away. Now what he wants to do here is stay at range and just try to start a few fires. He always has the option to drop into concealment. I think the Chimakaze can't get close enough to keep him spotted, because well, there is the threat of a Des Moines radar and there is still the Fletcher around. So as long as Sgsea is careful here, he should be fine. And he should always have the option to retreat. He also has the very strong British heal, so even though he is losing quite a lot of hit points, it's not that big of a deal. Now the friendly Des Moines, he is holding his position here to delay the enemy destroyers from taking the cap, I suppose, but he also should contemplate his retreat. The friendlies can't survive here indefinitely, so unless he is deciding to make his stand here and go down swinging, he should possibly already try to flee towards the north. Now in 2 minutes we have a Cyclone, and during that Cyclone it's a good option to retreat safely, I suppose. Also during the Cyclone you have to plan ahead so that you are in a position where you can actually do something. Like if you're sitting here in the 1 line and the Cyclone hits, then you are going to be useless, and you're going to be useless for a long time. Now Sgsea is already relocating here. I suppose his next stop will be the center. He's currently in concealment, and he might want to stay in concealment if he is showing broadside to the enemy battleships. But then again, let's see if they are actually shooting him. And also keep in mind that he is a fair distance away, so he has some time to adjust his course if there are incoming shells and maybe angle a little bit, but it's a risky spot where he is at. Now also he can drop into concealment between his shells. This means if the enemy team is currently pointing their guns in the wrong direction or they are reloading, then can get away with a lot, but you know, they'll catch on to him. Now the Des Moines is still sitting here holding his position, and the enemy team is moving in fast, so this Des Moines will probably be overrun pretty soon. The Fletcher is here also in retreat because the radar is moving in here as well. Cyclone will start soon, but the Cyclone starts with, well, visibility quite far, and it's gradually being reduced, so until that Cyclone provides cover, it's still quite a while away. Now in the north the team is Still hunting down those ships. We have one Shimakaze in the A-line and we'll soon have another Shimakaze in the A-line. To be fair though, the friendlies has 2 capture points, so hunting down those ships is probably a good way to spend the time for the ships in the north. He isn't under any threat. So why would the friendlies here be in a hurry to get down here? And yeah, the Des Moines is still kicking, but soon it will be completely overrun. This just leaves Sgsea and the Fletcher here. Then again, there are some friendly ships moving in. Now the Cyclone has started, visibility is gradually going down. As I said, it will still be quite a bit of time until this is providing some true cover. Look at that, 2 fires on a Moskva. Now there are still a lot of ships here in pursuit. And a lot of the friendlies are still engaged here up in the far north. The ships are all over the place. Now the enemies are trying to take B, probably the Shimakaze, but the Mogami is here to hopefully intervene, and there is a Conqueror as backup. Well, we are down to 14 kilometers, and I feel like a lot of those battleships are already in a position where they can't do anything anymore, which is a good thing. Now Sgsea is using his damage con here because, frankly, with this low visibility, the chance that he is getting set on fire soon again is probably low. Unless he really charges into this Moskva, but I think he still wants to keep a bit of distance towards the support of the Moskva. The Moskva got a bit ahead of his team, and in a Cyclone this just means he is all alone. Now the Fletcher is still in some danger because the Moskva has radar, but soon the Conqueror, the Lion, and well, Sgsea and also Conqueror, they might just gang up on that Moskva and really wreck this guy. Looks like the Shimakaze here is also in retreat. The north is pretty much cleared. There might still be a gearing around somewhere, but those ships are moving in and, well, maybe taking care of the last ships up there.
Torpedoes dead ahead.
I'm not sure why the Fletcher is providing a smoke screen here. Maybe he got too close to something, but nobody will spot for him most likely inside of a Cyclone. So if he intended to sit there and use his guns, it's unlikely. There is no cruiser that can profit from it. But I don't know, maybe he had a reason for deploying this smoke here. And look at that, there is a Rhone. It looks like that the Moskva has gathered some help here. But armor piercing is loaded, it's a broadside cruiser, and that's a very nice salvo. And it also shows that in the right situation you definitely want to shoot armor piercing in your Conqueror. Now in a Cyclone, in some close quarter brawling, that will certainly be helpful. Now he is already angling away here. For once he... well... he doesn't want to get closer towards the enemy with torpedoes, and he also doesn't want to get closer into the enemy force that's pushing here. He wants to get the maximum out of his Cyclone and possibly only engage 1 or 2 ships at a time. But it does look like the enemy is moving in basically a line here. That's amazing. The gearing is spotted though, and way too close. That's also an amazing salvo.
Our team has taken the lead.
So the friendlies have a nice points lead by now, but ship-wise it's still pretty even, so it depends who plays this Cyclone better. And surprisingly enough, all ships are actually pretty close to be here. So they'll just end this all in a huge brawl. And this is just a disgusting high explosive salvo. The amount of damage you can do with high explosive at times is really frightening. But he's back to armor piercing. He is probably expecting to be shooting at a broadside of something. Possibly that Iowa, or possibly the Iowa here. We will see. Look at that. I guess he's expecting a Conqueror to be shooting our high explosive. Not that it matters with these little hit points, I suppose. But yeah, down goes another enemy. Next up is probably a Moskva, who is showing a surprising amount of broadside as well. I guess in a Cyclone they all just forget about angling.
Enemy cruiser sunk. Our team has taken the lead.
But there are still pretty healthy Iowa and Yamato to deal with. And that could get very problematic very fast. But look at that, the Yamato is showing broadside as well, because, I don't know, he just wanted to eat the Citadel, I suppose. There's a high caliber award. Now there is a possibility to just ram the Iowa, I suppose. And I could certainly understand if he was going to do that, but, you know, he feels confident enough that he will decide this with his guns, especially since the Iowa here already fired his salvo. Now the two ships we see here are the only enemies remaining. It looks like the friendlies really dominated in this brawl, probably because the enemy was just sailing broadside on in front of everything. So next up, Juicy Yamato. There you go, there's another devastating strike and even more citadels. Now only the Iowa is remaining. He is on pretty low health, there's still some time left for his next heal. But the Iowa is getting low. There is also the possibility of getting a Kraken, so will he sink? Will he get a Kraken? Well, turns out he got neither. Now let's have a look at the results. Sgsea managed to get 3,110 base experience. Very nicely done by him. He played it carefully in the beginning. He saw that there were too many enemies, so he stayed far away and just did some long range sniping. And then once the Cyclone was there in full force, he just went in and rolled like a boss. He earned himself 2 devastating strikes, a Confederate, a Dreadnought and a high caliber. He scored 321,000 points of damage. And he almost got the Kraken. So yeah, this was a pretty nice replay, I thought. It was some nice brawling. It showed a Conqueror. He used a mixture of high explosive and armor piercing, and it showed quite a lot of careless enemies who just happily exposed the broadside. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. And I'll see you guys next time.